When beauty becomes rebellious, what happens next? Stay glued to your screen to find out. Olaedo was the pride of Umuaka village. Her name, meaning gold, fit her perfectly. She was a strikingly beautiful young lady with skin like polished ebony, eyes that sparkled like stars, and a confidence that left everyone awestruck. Her beauty was a kind that turned heads and made men dream impossible dreams. But behind her allure lay a streak of arrogance that rendered her untouchable. From a young age, Olaedo learned the power her beauty wielded. Men stumbled over themselves to win her favor, bringing gifts, offering words of undying love, and making promises they could barely keep. Olaedo reveled in their attention, but she was also ruthless. She toyed with their hearts, only to discard them when she's tired of their affection. Her name became synonymous to heartbreak, and the elders of Umuaka began to warn their sons. Beware of Olaedo, her beauty is a trap, her love a mirage. Olaedo, however, was unbothered. She believed no man was worthy of her. Why should I settle for any of them? She would say, her voice dripping with disdain. They are beneath me. Despite the warnings, a few men still dared to pursue her, hoping to be the one to tame her wild heart, but none succeeded. Olaedo's reputation grew, and so did her arrogance. One fateful evening, news spread through the village like wildfire. A prince from the neighboring kingdom of Ozalla was visiting. Prince Obinna, known for his wealth, his charm, and bravery, was on a tour of the nearby villages. The women of Umuaka buzzed with excitement, each hoping to catch his eye. Olaedo, however, dismissed the news with a wave of her hand. Another man who will fall at my feet, she said smugly. When Prince Obinna arrived, it was as though the sun itself had descended into Umuaka. He was tall, with broad shoulders, an infectious smile, and a regal air that commanded respect. His entourage, dressed in royal regalia, further added to the allure. The villagers lined the streets to welcome him, their faces lit with awe. Olaedo, too, went to see the prince, not out of curiosity, but to confirm what she already believed. No man, not even a prince, could resist her. As she approached the gathering, her beauty outshone everyone else's, and all eyes turned to her. When Prince Obinna's gaze met hers, something unusual happened. Olaedo felt a flutter in her chest, a sensation she had never experienced before. For the first time, she was captivated. Obinna, noticing her, smiled and walked toward her. The crowd gasped as he took her hand. "What is your name, beautiful one?" he asked, his voice deep and smooth. "Olaedo," she replied, her usual confidence faltering. "Ah, good," he said, his eyes twinkling. "Truly, you are well named." From that moment, Prince Obinna lavished Olaedo with attention. He visited her every day, bringing gifts and showering her with compliments. Olaedo, for the first time, found herself falling. Her walls crumbled, and she let herself believe in his love. Obinna asked for her hand in marriage. She said yes without hesitation. The villagers were shocked. The heartbreaker of Umuaka had finally met her match. Some were happy for her, while others were skeptical. A man like Prince Obinna must have an ulterior motive. An elder murmured, but Olaedo paid no heed. She was in love. The wedding was a grand affair. The entire village came to celebrate, and Olaedo felt like a queen. As she left with Obinna to his kingdom, her heart was full of dreams of a beautiful life. She imagined herself as the jewel of Ozalla, admired and cherished. The journey to Ozalla was long but exciting. Obinna was attentive, holding her hand and promising her a life of luxury. But there were subtle changes that Olaedo failed to notice. His warmth seemed slightly forced, his laughter hollow. Yet she dismissed those thoughts, blaming her exhaustion from the journey. When they arrived in Ozalla, Olaedo was awestruck by the grandeur of the palace. The walls were adorned with gold, the floors gleamed, and servants scurried about, bowing deeply. She thought she had stepped into a dream. Reality, however, began to set in quickly. On her first night in the palace, Obinna's demeanor shifted. He was no longer the doting prince she had fallen in love with. He was cold, dismissive, and impatient. "You are my wife now," he said coldly. "And as my wife, you must earn your place here." Olaedo was confused. "Earn my place? You thought wrong," he interrupted. "Your beauty may have been enough to charm me, but here it means nothing. You will walk like everyone else." Olaedo's heart sank. The following morning, she was rudely awakened by a servant who handed her a broom. "The prince had ordered that you begin your duties immediately," the woman said. "Duties?" Olaedo repeated, incredulous. "I am his wife, not a servant." The servant sneered. "Here, you are no different from the rest of us. The prince owns you now." Thus began Olaedo's descent into misery. She was stripped of her fine clothes and jewels and made to wear the coarse garments of a servant. She was tasked with cleaning the palace, cooking, and fetching water. The other servants, jealous of her former status, treated her harshly, often assigning her the most grueling tasks. Olaedo tried to protest, but Obinna ignored her pleas. "You were proud and cruel to others," he said one evening. "Now you will learn humility." Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Olaedo's beauty began to fade under the strain of hard labor. Her hands became calloused, her once glowing skin grew dull, and her spirit broke. She realized the pain she had inflicted on others in Umuaka and began to regret her actions. One day, while scrubbing the palace floors, she overheard two servants talking. The prince only married her to teach her a lesson, one said. "Yes," the other replied. "He heard of her arrogance and decided to humble her." The words hit Olaedo like a blow. Obinna's love had been a fakir, a calculated move to punish her. Tears streamed down her face as she scrubbed the floor, her heart heavy with regret. Despite the suffering, Olaedo found solace in unexpected places. Some of the kinder servants took pity on her and offered small acts of kindness, a piece of bread, a comforting word. She also began to pray, seeking forgiveness for her past actions and strength to endure her present trials. Over time, Olaedo changed. She became humble, kind, and hardworking. Her transformation did not go unnoticed. One day, an elderly servant named Mama Nkechi approached her. "You have changed, my child," she said. "Your heart is no longer filled with pride. Perhaps the gods will have mercy." One evening, a neighboring king visited Ozalla. During dinner, he noticed Olaedo serving food and was struck by her demeanor. He asked Obinna about her, and the prince laughed. "She is my wife, though she is little more than a servant now." The king frowned. "A man who cannot value his wife is unworthy of respect," he said. His words embarrassed Obinna, but they also sparked a change. The next day, Obinna summoned Olaedo. "You have served your penance," he said. "Perhaps I was too harsh. From now on, you will be treated as my wife." Olaedo, though wary, accepted his words. She resumed her place by his side, but this time she was no longer the proud, vain woman she was once. She carried herself with grace and humility, earning the respect of everyone in the palace. Though her marriage to Obinna was far from perfect, Olaedo learned to find joy in her life. She used her position to help the servants, ensuring they were treated fairly. She also reached out to her family in Umuaka, asking for forgiveness and promising to visit soon. Olaedo's story became a cautionary tale in both Umuaka and Ozalla, but for her, it was a story of redemption, a reminder that true beauty lies not in appearance, but in the heart. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.